Hey everyone, Nate here from WASD20. I'm really excited today to be introducing a new series of videos with my good friend, my man, JUCE from Tabletop Gaming with JUCE. We've decided that we need to get together. We live in the same town, we're friends, and we both have YouTube channels, so we thought we need to do some collaborative videos. So we're going to start doing that. Probably about once a month we'll get together and film a couple videos. Some of them are going to be on his channel, so make sure you're subscribed to him. And some of them are going to be right here on WASD20, my own channel. So the first couple videos that you're going to see from us are actually interviews. We decided let's just interview each other and introduce each other to our own audiences. I know we have a lot of shared viewers, but it's just a good way for you to get to know a little more about us as people and as gamers. But enough from me. Let's go now and hear from JUCE himself. My name is Nate, and today I've got a very special guest. This is my man JUCE in the house from Tabletop Gaming with JUCE. And I'm very excited to have a little interview here and get to know him a little better for all of you people who might not already know him. JUCE, you have the YouTube channel,
Sure do.
Tabletop Gaming with JUCE. Anything else you want to give a plug for before we get going?
Obviously, I have a website where I do a blog. I have homebrew rules. You can download Brasswick Feeblehammer's character sheet. All sorts of stuff over there. So it's www.rpgjuice.com. There will be more content. I try to put it up as frequently as I can. The goal is always to get something up, once a day, but obviously real life interferes with that.
Yep.
Yep.
Very cool. So we're going to start off by talking about gaming a little bit. How long have you been gaming, JUCE?
Well, the first time I ever gamed was probably back in 1997. So on paper, it looks like I've been gaming for a very long time. In reality, I would probably say I have a couple years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, cool. Yeah, it actually started with Heroes Unlimited and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness from a neighborhood guy who was friends with my uncle. He was in his 20s. Me and a couple neighborhood kids were, 12, 13 years old, and he invited us over to play. So, yeah. And you can find that on my channel. I've talked about my history with that. So if you want the full story, definitely go check that out somewhere.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. What do you like most about role-playing games?
I think it's the freedom, the idea that you can do anything you want in a game. I love video games, and some of the best games I've ever liked, you had complete freedom to go where you want and do what you want. In tabletop RPGs, we call it a sandbox. That's, I think, part of what I like about tabletop role-playing games. You're not forced into cutscenes and things where you have no control over your character, unless you have a group that kind of forces you into that. But so it's the idea that you can build yourself up. There's no limits, and you can do anything you want. So I think that's what it is.
Yep, that's awesome. Yeah. What about your inspiration for getting into gaming? You kind of talked about that already, but what is it specifically that piqued your interest when you were? This was back in 97.
Yeah, it's hard for me to remember. I remember it was summertime. I was going to the pool a lot, and we were just talking with my mom. Would talk to this guy. His name was Doug. She would talk to him all the time, and every now and then, he and I would talk because he liked wrestling. I liked wrestling. I did some house sitting while he was on his honeymoon with his wife and stuff. And I think it was just the conversations we had, and I don't remember them now, but just the idea that that sounds really cool that you can do this and do that, because he would share his gaming stories with me. And while a lot of his stories were about riffs, which at the time was not a genre I was that interested in, there was still some really cool gaming stories he shared with me. So I think that's really what it was.
What do you think about introducing your kids to role-playing games? What do you think is a good age?
I don't know. My daughter's only 3, and she shows a huge interest in rolling dice, playing with miniatures, looking at the books. She can't read yet, so she obviously can't write yet. But I've thought about doing stuff, with just having her pull some toys out, me pulling some miniatures out, and we just play on the table, her and myself, for 15 minutes at a time. And to see how that would work, because kids already role play. I mean, if you ever watch a kid with their 2 toys, they're role playing. They're having conversations, they're doing cool things back and forth.
Yeah.
So they already have the concept. You don't even have to teach them the concept. You just tell them when to roll dice, really. I think it just comes down to when you think your kids can listen well and sit down with you for however long you would want to do it for.
Yeah.
System, I think, is overrated. I wouldn't worry about a system. I would just pull the dice out and, say, hey, roll your dice. And on the spot, I would probably just think of something like a DC for whatever they're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah, I never thought about like listening as being a very necessary thing, because there's, like you say, kids already use their imagination. It's the listening that you really gotta that a kid should have.
Yeah, I think the listening thing is probably the most important part. I hear a lot of people in the community say, "Oh, they have to be mature enough," but that's kind of a very broad thing to say. A lot of people are, in their 20s and 30s and aren't mature, and some people are, teenagers and are mature. So I don't think that term necessarily is
right.
I think it's just too general.
Right, like obviously you're not going to introduce a 6-year-old to Vampire the Masquerade or something like that.
Right.
But mature enough to play role-playing games.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any.
It could be anything.
Exactly.
You could play My Little Pony, the RPG at your table, or Barbie, the
Exactly.
RPG. Whatever your kids are into, you could do.
Exactly. Yep.
So,
yeah, I would agree. Cool. So I know you're really into 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons right now, and that seems to be your go-to system.
Definitely.
Do you see yourself sticking with that for a long time, like many years, or what do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the tabletop RPG one-shot group who like to try different games. Like Fate is a big one right now. I'm not one who wants to try a lot of systems. I don't want to buy a bunch of systems. So for me, it's important to stick with a system I know works for what I want. I'm sure there's great systems out there that I would enjoy, and I would probably dive head first into. I have a very addictive personality. Once I like something, I kind of go in 120%. And so that's my concern with not trying things like 13th Age, A Song of Ice and Fire, these other games that I'm sure are fantastic.
Yeah.
I did it with Pathfinder. I played, maybe 5 to 10 games of Pathfinder ever, but I bought all the books. Was it worth the investment? I don't know. So at this point, I don't want to jump into another system and basically throw away everything I did with 5th edition. Because I also come from the school that I think, rules are a little overrated. As long as you can have fun with some friends around a table or online, then it's working. So.
Yep, that's a good philosophy. So my next question might be a little irrelevant then, but are there any other RPGs that you do want to try out that are kind of on your bucket list that you've been wanting to try?
There are a few that have piqued my interest. Numenera does pique my interest a little bit. It's not something I would want to invest in, but it's something I would definitely be interested in trying. Fate does not interest me, really, and I know that's a really popular one. I'd probably play it. I don't think I would get really that into it, though, from what I've heard. But yeah, Numenera, definitely. Mm-hmm. Besides that, I don't think so.
Yeah. What is it that drew you to Pathfinder? It seems like you were kind of into some of the
Palladium books.
There you go. You were into a lot of the Palladium books.
Yes.
And what is it then that kind of sucked you into Pathfinder?
So I came up on Heroes Unlimited, like I had said. Palladium books is a very universal system for the most part. They have a fantasy game, Palladium Fantasy, Rifts, which is post-apocalyptic, and then they have Heroes Unlimited. They also have some spin-offs like Dead Rain, which is their zombie game. So they basically can encompass anything. Their system is good for almost anything, especially once you know the system. And I would say it probably takes a few sessions and a few times creating characters for each one to really grasp it. But once you got it, it's a simple system, I think. And most people who are really into it, I think, can agree with that. Now, when I was really into Palladium books, I struggled to find people willing to play it because of the reputation it has. Yeah. And so I actually had surgery where I had my gallbladder removed, and I got tired of watching Netflix because I was on the couch for, 6 weeks or something, or 12, I think it was 6 weeks. And I'd say after 3 or 4 days, I took to YouTube looking up Palladium stuff online on YouTube. And it led me to some people's channels. I think Gentleman Gamer I saw because he said Heroes Unlimited was the worst game he had ever played in his life. And I quickly said, you're out of your mind. But then I found Tim Harper and I found Main Man and Dawn Forged Cast. And so I started watching these channels that I found very entertaining. And Dawn Forged Cast, I think, was starting his basics videos or something. I don't remember exactly, but he talked about Pathfinder a lot.
Yep.
And watching his channels made me interested in Pathfinder. I saw how many people were interested in Pathfinder, and so that's kind of what led me to that. But before I bought a Pathfinder book, I started playing Palladium Fantasy with some people I knew. I just had to drive almost an hour to play with them. And it just got tedious driving back and forth. And so it led to, when that kind of died down and I had owned all the Palladium Fantasy books, I just naturally went to Pathfinder because I knew people who wanted to play Pathfinder, and I wasn't giving anything a shot that wasn't Palladium books. So that was the natural progression to Pathfinder. Obviously, I met you. In that time, I was interested in Pathfinder, and we played a couple sessions, and even though I had read the book, too many questions, I think, came up that I just was never 100% comfortable with the system. And so 5th edition came out, and it seemed to fit like a glove. It was perfect. So that's kind of my progression there.
Yeah, that's cool. That's helpful. All right, I hope you enjoyed part 1 of my little conversation with Juice of Tabletop Gaming with Juice. Make sure you tune in to part 2 coming soon.